Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us once again for the Discipline Therapy podcast. Big shout out to our sponsorship, Jam House Music Studio in Lindenhurst. We have a really good topic today, don't we, Mr. Eel Discipline?
We absolutely do.
And I think we have a special caller
call.
too.
All right.
Also, to let you guys know, if you like the content, give us a thumbs up, share it, with your friends and family. Hit the subscribe and what's the other one? Notifications. There you go.
Notifications. Yep. So you can be alerted when we have new shows.
Because we got a couple of things
episodes.
going on.
Sometimes we have some surprise episodes, special edition.
We have different segments also coming about. Actually, we already have the discipline therapy talk.
Yeah.
That's strictly on audio platforms. Am I correct?
Yes. Speaking of audio, we're also on the major listening platforms. Whatever favorite podcast app of your choosing, whether it's Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Castbox, and many more. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Discipline Therapy Thursdays. You know what that means because y'all fiends. We have a dose of discipline therapy where everything is completely free. See, if you subscribe, there's no monthly fee. What else is free is it's judgment free, sucker free, censor free, sensitive free, and plenty of liberty. God and the ancient ancestors are great, and that means everything else is straight. So go grab your wine, popcorn, or roll a blunt. But the main thing is make sure the children are in bed. Why? Because we have that soul food and sometimes vulgar conversations. Prepare your mind to be fed like one up, inhale life, and exhale strife. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, you are tuned in to the Discipline Therapy Podcast.
We're here. You know what I forgot to do? Like always, because my brain doesn't work. I'm going to do this to clear the energy.
All right.
So we have episode 64, Men and Women with Multiple Baby Mamas or Daddy.
We also have a special guest caller. How you doing?
Hi, I'm okay.
Good. Would you like to remain anonymous or do you want to state your name?
Anonymous.
All right.
So episode 64, Men and Women with Multiple Baby Mamas or Baby Daddies. Now, we have bullets on this. One of the bullets is, why do you think it's socially acceptable when celebrities have multiple baby mamas or baby daddies versus a person without notoriety or who isn't, a public figure?
Celebrities are celebrities. They're in the public eye. So, anyone that sees them is going to be in their business. Versus me, for example, if I have a kid, nobody wants to know who I am. I'm a nobody.
That's not nice.
Well, I'm saying I'm a nobody. Unless you know me personally, you don't know me, so you're not gonna want to know my business. You don't care if I have a kid or not. You don't care if I have 2 or 3 baby daddies.
But that's what I'm saying. Do you think it's acceptable when a celebrity has multiple?
I think it is.
But why is that though? Just because they're celebrities?
Because they're celebrities and they get around and their business is out there.
Do you think it's more acceptable for the males to have multiple babies and multiple baby mothers, or the females to have multiple babies or multiple baby fathers, or is it equal?
I don't think it's equal at all. When a man goes around and he cheats and he has babies, it's all right. He cheated, for example, a basketball wife. She's okay with it. He had a baby with another woman and she still stays with him. So it's okay. When a woman does it, she's a slut. She look at her. She has another baby daddy. What a whore.
That's true.
And people start questioning it like, oh, is that really the father?
Now, do you think it's because it's like, it's who's going to be financially responsible for these children, or just the fact that these men or women just keep having unprotected sex that brings, like a bad taste, that leaves a bad taste in people's mouth in regards to this topic?
Honestly, I don't think money has anything to do with it when you're in the public eye, because everyone knows you're rich already. So I think that, I'm sorry, it's sad to say, but, men have it easier than women nowadays.
In regards to that?
In regards to that, yeah.
Do you think a lot of it has to do with hypergamy?
What's that?
It has to do with what? I'm sorry, I can't
hypergamy.
What's
Which is what?
I didn't know that either.
Hypergamy is when a man or a woman, but it's mostly women, they go after men with higher sociological or economic background or high educational background or high status. So a man could be a celebrity, he could have a lot of money, and he might even have a woman who he's married at home, but she'll be associated with him because she's gonna,
Benefit.
be a benefit. Do you think it's because of hypergamy? Whereas like a regular man who works a 9 to 5, maybe he makes 70,000 a year, he's taking care of his bills or whatever. He doesn't have notoriety. He's not a public figure. It's like a woman may look at that and say, oh, you got multiple baby mothers and multiple kids. Ew. Whereas a male celebrity
They'll be like, add me to the list.
exactly.
Oh yeah, definitely because of hypergamy for sure.
Okay.
Because I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, I'm gonna give this guy a chance. He got 4 kids, and he makes 70K a year. That's not gonna support me and those 4 kids. Plus, if I want to have a kid with him.
Yes.
Meanwhile, if you had like $2 million or 20, let's rephrase that. Let's say $50 million. I would say, okay, he has 4 kids, big deal. He could afford it.
Right.
We can have 2 kids too.
So
you know what I mean?
So the money does matter.
It does. Now that you put it in that aspect, for sure. For sure.
Now, do you think how a person feels about their child's other parent affects how they interact or feel about that specific child?
Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah.
What do you mean by that question?
Like I've always wondered, like if a woman has, like, let's say 4 children by 3 different men, right? And one of those fathers is like a deadbeat and she's always beefing with him. Do you think that affects how she now treats that child in some form or fashion? Yeah.
For sure. I think so.
I think so too, and that's pretty sad, man.
Why do y'all think that is?
I mean, I also think that it goes the other way around. Like the father who's having a problem with the mother, then also maybe not takes it out, but has some resentment towards the kid.
That's not
Especially
always.
the kid
No,
isn't
not
theirs.
always.
That's not always common, but
No.
you're right. It happens.
No, not always. It definitely does happen, and it's a pretty sad thing. Why do I think that is? I think it's because people don't have emotional maturity, like you say, and they can't differentiate. Okay, that is my child, and that's his father. But that has nothing to do with me and the bond that I have with my child. If I have a problem with the father, it's the father. Got nothing to do with my kid.
So, what do you think, caller? Do you agree?
I would have to say I agree with her.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's more in depth. Like I agree with you ladies, but I think it's also more in depth.
So what do you
just
think
how
it is?
female nature is.
You're saying that if a child is not, like, for example, the kid's not mine, but you're saying that I'm going to treat the child differently?
No.
If it is your child, let's say it's
But
let's
you
say
don't have a good relationship with the father. You know what I'm saying? So there might be certain mannerisms. Okay, I know this personally because I don't want to
just
really.
for experience.
No, I don't have kids, but I know a relative. I'll just say it that way.
Okay.
Whereas she might see certain mannerisms with her daughter, and she's like, "That's why you act like your father." And the father's no longer there.
Exactly.
And now they beef because of that. And she's like, I see certain mannerisms of your father.
Yes.
And I don't like it. Like I've witnessed her verbalize this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the example I'm giving.
Yeah.
I feel like it goes more in depth with everything you ladies are saying. I agree, but I think it's also like with female nature. Females are more emotional. A woman actually carries the child. You see what I'm saying? So that's a different bond.
Yeah.
The father just plants the seed. The mother is
nurtures it.
Exactly.
Right. Which is why I think it's easier, I guess, in this example, a man is quicker to, well, then I don't want anything to do with the kid now. I don't want to have anything to do with you or the baby. See ya. And they're quick, and it's easier for them to do that. Whereas the woman now can't. You know what I mean? Although that is changing a lot. I've seen a lot of women, when they separate from their, spouse or boyfriend, baby father, they up and leave the kid with the father. I've seen that more recently than none. Have you ever?
I just think women could be spiteful.
Oh yeah.
And, in response to what Discipline was saying, like, if a woman says, "Oh, well, you're acting like your father," I think she's lashing out because she's angry at the father.
Mhm.
But if she has a good relationship with the father, I don't think she's, quick to do something like that to her own child. Because, like he said, there is a special bond between the mother and child, but also you don't know that person's situation. So if that
Mhm.
person, had a horrible,
Upbringing.
pregnancy and the father wasn't around, or even
Mhm.
upbringing, or
Mhm.
even if she was mistreated when she was a child,
Mhm.
she can definitely take it out or portray that on her kid. And I
Yep.
think that women are more likely to do that when they're spiteful towards that
The father.
Yes.
person, the father,
Yeah.
We're
I
gonna
whether
get
they're
in,
with him or not.
we're gonna
That's
get
true.
into that
Yeah.
when you hang up, because I was thinking about the same thing.
Yeah. Now, have you ever dated anyone with children already that weren't yours?
No, but I've been the one with the child for sure.
And how do you mind talking about that? Like, how was that
No, I don't
interaction?
mind. I don't mind talking about it. You can ask me questions.
So you have children, and you dated while you had a child. How did that person interact with your child?
So I had a relationship where I dated someone, and my son was about, I want to say, like 7 or 8, and it was very awkward at first because the person didn't have any children and he had actual childhood trauma.
Oh.
So I was very skeptical and scared to leave him alone with my son because he was very open to telling me about it, and I appreciated and I respected him for it. But
Right, it put
I
something.
didn't feel, but that put fear in my heart as a mother because I was like, oh, what if he does this to my child when I'm not around?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a scary
You know?
thing. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
No, that I mean, I could relate to you only because in my case I was like physically, like sexually kind of abused, not horribly, but touching as a child. And when my children were going to that person's house, I was like, no, I need eyes
Yeah.
everywhere. So I could definitely understand what where you're coming from with that. Is there anything else you want to ask the caller?
Oh no, I agree with a lot of her answers, which is rare.
It is
I don't really
rare.
agree with a lot
Hey,
of women.
caller, he agrees with you. That's you get the prize. You get whatever prize we got going on. Is there anything that you'd like? Is there any like final thoughts on your part that you'd like to say before you go?
What would you like me to comment on though? Like,
Whatever, anything. You can comment on anything you want to comment on the topic, on the show, on how fabulous we are. Whatever you want to say.
oh, you okay? I want to say that you guys are amazing, and I love your show,
She's
and
influencing
I
your
can't wait.
That's how we get ratings here. Okay, we have to do these things.
Yes, I love you guys. I can't wait to hear the next topics, and I would love to call again because you guys are amazing.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thanks for calling in.
Thank you.
Take care.
Okay, bye.
Why do you think it's socially acceptable for celebrities to have multiple children with different partners?
Just to touch base off what we were talking about, I stand by my answer. It has to do with notoriety and money.
But on both sides, because there's
Yeah.
women
Yeah.
celebrities
Like
that
a
have
woman-
a couple of baby daddies too.
Yeah. But if she, it's not just it's not just the notoriety with the celebrity female. She has to have money as well. You see what I'm saying? Because what happens is, because men are conquerors and real men are territorial and possessive, they don't feel comfortable, nor do they want to accept another man's kid or children, plural. So you're gonna have to show him that you bring other things to the table. Like, maybe she looks good, I'm just putting my mind in their minds. Maybe her body's done, maybe it isn't. Pretty face, nice ass, tits, and he looks at it as sexual. You see what I'm saying? So the fact that she has kids, it's like, well, damn, the single mothers are looking better than the women who don't have kids.
That's true.
You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So that might be his incentive of
Okay.
getting with her. You
Okay.
know what I'm saying? And money might be a bonus and notoriety. You know, but most men don't care about that. The more money a woman makes, it devalues her. It does, like, he doesn't care, especially if he makes a lot of money. He's
Now,
not gonna
do
care.
do you feel like these celebrities, men and women, should be more conscious of having all these, children with different partners? Or
Um,
hey, they could, if they could afford to take care of them, who cares? Is like which one?
Not really, because even though those kids will be financially secure and stable, he might be taking multiple households. The actual father figure is essential
Yes, I
for the
agree.
kids' mental, emotional, psychological, physical health.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So like, even though it's like there's so many kids out there that be like, oh my God, I got a Mercedes and I got this and I got that. But they didn't have love. They
Right.
didn't get a hug. They
Mhm.
weren't they didn't have education. You know, they grow up just mad at their parents and they
Right.
shoot up schools or whatever, just hypothetical.
Right.
Or theaters. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Because
Right.
they were just silver spoon. They didn't have that
Those values
those
and all
values.
that.
They didn't have that education. They didn't have that father to teach them about life and teach them how to ride a bike, teach them how to drive. You see,
Mm.
all these things a father's supposed to be there to do. So if they're just providing money,
Mm.
you know what I'm saying? They're not really teaching you how to be a kid and
Right.
being there. So you're building a fucked up cycle.
Yes.
So now their relationships might suffer when they get older.
Not
Or
probably definitely suffer
you see what I'm
in
saying?
some form or fashion.
So
I always wondered also, like like women who have multiple, and when I say multiple, I definitely mean more than two children and baby, fathers.
brothers, yeah.
Like if you have, let's say, three or four, and that one has, your one child, his dad is such a deadbeat, doesn't come around, rarely call, doesn't, or he says he comes, but then he doesn't, and that kid is pretty sad because his dad doesn't come around. How does he feel seeing his siblings and their fathers coming around? Like I always thought, like, damn, that must feel like such shit, like, for the kid. Like, he must be like, why, how come their dad comes and mine doesn't? Like, I always wondered about that.
Like it's weird. Were you gonna say something?
No, go ahead.
It's weird, like, because a lot of people are gonna be like, oh my God, that's a double standard. It's normal for a man to have multiple baby mothers, multiple women in his life, planting his seed everywhere. It's normal because men are conquerors. That's what we do. We can do that. A woman could carry one baby to term, what, every 9 months or a year?
Almost 10 months,
Yeah.
literally, like, technically.
So even if you nut in her and then you nut in her again, she could only have one kid. Some people are lucky and they have twins.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? So women can't do that. They can't have many babies. Like, okay, I had a baby 3 months ago,
oh, okay.
and then I'm having a baby 3 months. Like, you can only bring one baby to term.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So it's normal for men to be polyamorous. It's normal for men to do that. Now, when you see women having more than one father, it shows her being irresponsible.
But isn't it irresponsible if a man has? Like, I know a celebrity man that has
Yeah,
a couple of kids all over the place.
We're not gonna mention.
No, I'm not gonna say a name, but isn't that irresponsible?
Yeah, it is, because of what I talked about prior. That it's gonna be hard for him to be in all of their
Everybody.
lives, and he's inspiring single mothers, and these single mothers are gonna raise beta males.
Mm.
They're gonna raise soft men. You know, he's inspiring that. Now, the only way he's able to rectify it is if he buys a mansion full of like 14, 18 rooms
Mm.
where he can have everybody in the house together. Then he's able to be there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's irresponsible, but I'm not saying that it's not normal. It's what it's normal to see that. When a woman does it, it's like, in my mind, it's irresponsible. And I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna explain why. Women can acquire sex more than men. They
Mhm.
control access to it. So if you have multiple baby daddies, I read more in depth. It lets me know you don't like to fuck with condoms. It
Mhm.
lets me know that you're not being. Do you bring protection? Like women should always ask men this question. If they're not gonna, you just gonna slide
Right,
in me
bring it.
raw? Like
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying? Like I don't have another kid now, or maybe she's taking birth control. Like
Mhm.
these are the things that she should ask or do to not have different. You
Right.
know, there are some women that are like, okay, I had a baby with this guy. I thought it was gonna be it. He cheated on me or whatever. It was over. Or maybe he left. Then I meet this guy. I think he is the one. Then let me have a kid with him. And then it's another deadbeat.
Mm.
So, you know, maybe giving her the benefit of the doubt, but still, it's still irresponsible.
Yeah. I
You, you,
definitely agree with that.
you see what I'm saying?
I also have to say in regards to what you said, I don't know if it's a normal thing, to see men, just because of how society is, you know what I mean?
Mm,
Like maybe back in the days it was more normal, but it's not. And maybe it's coming around too because of the poly lifestyle that's coming back around as well, or being more in the spotlight.
mm,
But at the same time of what you're saying, like my first thing, like you, is that is very irresponsible on both parts because you have unprotected sex. Getting pregnant, it's not the worst of it. You know
mm,
what I mean? It's catching everything else,
mm,
STDs or whatever. That in the in my mind, the forefront of my mind.
mm.
That's why you should be using a condom anyway.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Also, also, it's irresponsible. It's irresponsible on the man's part if he's fucked up. Like if he's not mentally there, if he's not spiritually there, it's fucked
Or
up
financially there.
because the child is having majority of your genes.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yep.
see what I'm saying as the man. So if he's just already a deadbeat, he's already not stable, whether it's financially or doing something with himself. He's not thinking right. He's not
Mm-hmm.
intelligent. He's not spiritual. His third eye is not open. For him to be putting out his seed is irresponsible because he's building dumb babies also. He's building these babies because everything about you that you're seeing in the world now, how you think, the baby's going to absorb. It's
Mm-hmm.
a 2.0 version of you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's even more responsible. And if he knows he's toxic, you see what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
irresponsible for him.
I'm gonna jump in on that, saying that you're correct that the man, if he's already fucked up, he's irresponsible. But the woman who's allowing this already fucked up man to nut in her is 1,000% even more irresponsible. You
Yeah.
see it in front of
But
your face. What are you
yes,
doing?
like I said, if we looking at a poll, who's more irresponsible? It's always the woman. I will say that 100 times.
Mm.
And they could go back to episode 47, the sex with condoms or without, birth control and stuff, IUDs. You know, it's like women control access to sex. So, you could always say no, you
Mm-hmm.
could always do this, you could always, women always control, plan it out. Hey, what I'm saying? They decide. So if you are inebriated, that's your fault still. As the woman, you can't blame it on the alcohol. You can't, I got high. You see what I'm saying? It's always the woman's responsibility to make sure, yo, did you bring protection? You're not
Mm-hmm.
going in me raw. I don't want to have any more kids. Not, oh, I'm horny right now. My pussy's wet.
Right. We'll
Let's
think
not
about it
waste time.
later. Right.
Yeah. Or
Right.
I'll take the plan B or something
Mm-hmm.
like that. Like, you see what I'm saying? It's always the woman's responsibility because most men, don't really think like me, and they could go back to that episode 47 that even if I was inebriated, I'm still thinking.
Mm-hmm.
I got to be responsible. Most men are not thinking that way. Oh, I'll just pull out.
Right. Or not my problem.
Pussy so good. Now you're hitting it from the back, and back shots is not long. You can't last too long for a lot of guys. You know what I mean? You like that the
Interesting.
most. You see what I'm saying? You might be able to last long in missionary and all that other stuff. But once it might be too good, pussy might be tighter than you expected. And now your pull-out game isn't that great.
Mm.
But he's thinking in the beginning, oh yeah, I'll pull out. Or he'll even tell her, don't worry, baby, I'll pull out. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
okay, no problem. You got protection? Nah, but I'll pull out. Oh, now she's like, oh,
Oh,
okay.
okay.
Because she
Yeah.
wants to feel good.
Boba. Mm-hmm.
She wants to feel good at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, it's like I
And
said,
she's not thinking clearly right now.
it comes down to the women being more responsible.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Some women, go ahead.
Why do you think these people, like these people, get a bad rap though?
Men or women?
Both, either one.
They don't really get a bad rap if they're like celebrities and shit.
I know. I'm talking about,
You
I guess,
know?
regular folk now.
Yeah, because like,
I mean, there's so many reasons why they could get a bad rap.
yeah, but it just goes back to the notoriety. It comes back to the money. I mean, you could have a lot of money and not have notoriety.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? You just move in silence.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but you know, that's why really. You know, it
the
just
financial aspect of it.
yeah, and
Yeah, I
it
think
comes
so,
down.
too.
It also comes down to like, you know, oh, you're sharing a bond with so many different people because the child is the bond.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and like that's why they might get a bad rap. But it's common, to be honest.
Yeah, it
like
is.
it's very rare you're gonna meet a woman that doesn't have kids nowadays, who's over 30 doesn't have kids. It's very rare you're gonna meet a man that doesn't have kids who's over 30.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a rarity.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? It's very rare nowadays. They got one or two.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
it's, you know, it is what it is, and you're gonna find that a lot. And you know, a lot of times, like a woman might say, "Oh yeah, I got a kid with this. I got 4 kids, 2 baby daddies, 4 kids, 3 baby daddies." You know, to me, it's a deal breaker.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a deal breaker.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like
It's just it's like too many cooks in the kitchen type of thing.
it just shows me you're irresponsible.
Mm.
You know, it lets me think like why do you have so many baby daddies?
Mm. Yeah, it's almost like there's something like unresolved, kind of like a trauma or
Yeah.
something. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Now I know you don't have any children, and you've dated, or rather, you've dated and you've had subs that have children. Have you ever heard like a story like this? Has any other woman, complained about their, one of their child's father, as opposed as not stepping up, and like how would you
Yeah.
deal with that? Like, would you get involved?
Everyone I was involved with, whether it was a
Had a
sub
complaint about it?
or working to be a sub, yes.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? I always ask them those questions. You know, how many kids you have? Because I need to know how old are they? Because I need to know how much time I'm gonna be able to spend with you. You know, I always ask those questions. Is the baby daddy around? I'm possessive and territorial. Do you have a good relationship with him, even though you're not around? Do you guys share custody? How does it work? Like, I ask these questions that are so trivial for people, and they're like, damn, you know, ain't
important.
nobody asking me this. You see what I'm saying? Guys just see I look good and, you know, this and that.
Right, that's all they care about.
Yeah, because they're thinking of like pussy or short term or something like that. Like, you know, I'm thinking of long term,
Right.
especially if I'm involving you in my life and we're gonna have sex and we're gonna share energy and stuff. Like, so I gotta know things to
Right.
protect my energy and who I'm getting involved with. So I'll ask you those questions about, have you ever been institutionalized and shit, felonies and shit like that.
Oh, Lord.
You know what I'm saying? So
That's for another topic.
so to me, it's like I will get into depth of those questions because now I want to know, because I don't have kids. Is she gonna want to have kids?
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Have you ever been with a woman and their child got super attached to you?
Did I answer the question?
I have no idea.
Okay, so have they complained about the fathers all the time? That's why.
And
they're not
I know what the
together.
question was. Did you ever have to step in or get involved or anything like that?
No.
Okay. With the child or anything?
Mm-mm.
Now,
Me, I'm the type of person. I'm not demanding that. It's not in my rules. None of that stuff. Negotiations.
What?
I'm not demanding. Oh, I got to see your kids. Or I got to see the kid.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? I put that up to them when you're ready.
Okay.
You
So
know
have
what
you
I'm
ever
saying?
met a child that was like that got attached to you? Or it
No.
never? Okay. Well, that's
No,
good, I guess.
it never came to that.
Oh.
Single mothers are gonna raise beta males. This is
Okay.
what I believe. This is just my opinion.
Okay.
But my opinion happens to be 99.9% true.
Okay.
I'm only wrong 0.1%.
Okay.
that I'm wrong. But 99.9%, I'm right. Single mothers will raise beta males. Now, I said this in an audio show. These single mothers will teach their boys. This is part of them teaching them to be beta males, inspiring nice guys. Oh, you got to treat every woman like a queen. You make sure you do this. They're projecting how they weren't treated or they want to be treated upon these men, and they're inspiring beta males.
Okay.
You got to be a nice guy. You got to do this. Make sure you always do this for women, right? So these men might think, oh, I got to make all the money in the world and and simp, and then they get taken advantage of and ran all over. Women who also are single and have girls, and they had traumatic experiences that were, whether it's childhood or with the baby father, that they haven't confronted yet and have closure with, are gonna fuck up these women also.
Oh,
they
yeah.
do the reverse.
Mhm.
Watch this. They inspire these women to be alpha.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when they inspire these women to be alpha, this is what they do. They say to them, don't let no man tell you what to do.
Right. Don't depend on anybody.
Don't depend on no man. Make sure you make your own money, because they probably experienced that.
Mm-hmm.
So now they're building these women, beating them in the head. Now it's psychological. When they grow up, they start to be alpha, strong, independent. I don't need a man. So aggressive, so dominant. I do everything myself. So now what happens is they repel the men that they really need in their lives, the dominant, alpha, almighty kings.
Mm-hmm.
They repel these men, but they really want these men. They're with feminine parts tingle,
Mm-hmm.
everything about them, spirit, mind is attracted to these men. What ends up happening is, because of the stuff that they were instilled by the mother, they make these men disconnect from them.
Mm-hmm.
Before they even connect. Maybe they were going on a few dates or whatever. Now they just, this woman is just fucking ridiculous. She's too masculine for me. And we just bumping heads. So he disconnects. He might go ghost, might stop talking to her. She's gonna end up settling for the beta males, the men that she really doesn't want, but she just settles for.
Because she thinks that's what she wants.
Yes.
Right.
And those relationships never work.
Like they don't last.
Now the guys might end up cheating. They might not be, oh, why are you not being a real man?
So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
How would you then now how would you tell the mothers of the daughters how to raise them? You know what I mean? Like if the mothers have experienced a man telling them, you got that because of me. You have a house because of me. That money you have in your pocket, that's because of me. And just always like that, right?
Mm.
And the mom has now experienced all this, abuse, mental, whatever, finally leaves and has her daughter, and now she's raising her, like you said, to be strong. How would you tell, what kind of advice would you tell that mom on raising her daughter?
Raise her feminine, not masculine. What you're telling her is masculine, how to be masculine. What these mothers are doing is they're setting their child up for failure.
Right, but in their mind, they're not. They want their daughter to be better than them, be stronger than I was. How can?
In my opinion, not really. What they're doing is they're being emotional, and what they're doing is they have unresolved trauma. They have unresolved trauma, and they're projecting how they want to be treated and how they feel upon them. So they're taking it out of them. Don't let no man do this, because they were in that situation. They should say, baby girl, make sure you're feminine, because this is the man that you really should get.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe this is bad to do. If she's saying your father was a deadbeat, never date something like that.
100%, that's bad.
Something bad.
Yeah,
but in her mind, she should just keep that. Your father was a deadbeat. She shouldn't verbalize that.
Right.
She should just say, I don't want my daughter to get a deadbeat beta male. I want her to get a gentleman, alpha male, dominant man. So how am I going to do that? By teaching her how to be traditional and feminine and do this. Yeah, make your own money. But if you meet a man that's willing to take care of you and do all this stuff and be right and treat you like a lady and how you should be treated, don't shy away from that. What these women are doing is they're saying, fuck men. Because there's circumstance. What happened to them? They're saying, don't let no man tell you what to do. Don't let no man do this. Make sure you make your own money. They're inspiring these strong, independent, I don't need a man.
Right.
Children to be alpha.
Women.
Yes. This is what also the feminist plague to society are doing. They're doing the same thing. It's now a cycle.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a bad cycle.
I also think though that a lot of women, well, more on the lower income, they don't know what like you said, you want the woman to say, I want my daughter to have this alpha male, but I don't think they know the terminology for what exactly that they want.
It's not just lower income. I'm going to cut you off.
Okay.
This is just is all. It doesn't matter the demographics, doesn't matter the economic status, or environment. It's just a mindset. Because you
right,
could
but what I'm saying is those terms aren't, they're not just out all the time. Like you don't really hear alpha male stuff like that unless like our show we throw those words around a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So in the regular world, you don't really hear that stuff. So I think a lot of women don't know that that's what that they want. All they know is that they don't want that piece of shit that verbally degrades me or says or doesn't just leaves for days on end. They don't want that. I don't think they know how to verbalize that to their children.
Well,
though.
they could teach them about chivalry. They could teach them about being a gentleman and stuff like that. Like teach them the stuff, the basics that you would have wanted to be treated. Not because how you were treated. It's like, oh, now this is how you gotta be to survive.
Don't put that stigma on your child now.
Yeah. Teach them how to be. Teach them about chivalry. You see what I'm saying? Because that's an alpha male trait. You know what I'm saying? Teach them about, oh, this is the type of men you need to look out for, and this is the type of men you need to, accept. You know what I'm saying? Don't teach you to be
just all men.
Yeah, and don't teach you to be like, oh, this is how you gotta approach guys and stuff. Because he could also be doing that. Like an alpha male may not want an aggressive woman that's approaching him and, hey, you want to go on a date? Here's my number and stuff. Like, you see what I'm saying? Where a beta male might, because he's more shy, reserved, and nervous and stuff like that. He might. But that's the advice I would give them.
Yeah, that's a good advice. I like that.
Because it's just there's too much of a bad cycle going on with the way it is, and I feel like more so it's happening with the single mothers than the single fathers, and this comes back to the female nature of them being more emotional and keeping grudges. You see what I'm saying?
That's
like you got a single father out there who, it's not a lot of them, but they are out there.
Yeah, they are.
They thug it out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They thug it out. They don't complain about it. And then you got a lot of mothers who are teaching their daughters to, they're thugging it out. And, they got to work 2 jobs or whatever. But they might not let the daughter or the son see them, but they're breaking down. They're not happy that they're working 2 jobs. And,
of course not. That's tiring.
So that stress comes out and not having emotional intelligence, and now it comes out on that situation. So you might have a mother who's stressed out, and then the daughter does something, and it's like, I see mannerisms of your father, and da-da-da. So now you're beating her in the head with that.
And now she's like thinking that her father is bad, and now she's bad like her father.
And that's detrimental, because you got to understand that when women seek men, they seek for characteristics of their father. So when you start telling them shit like this, you start, like, I didn't grow up with how my father did. I'm not going to be able to trust men. I'm not going to be able to do this. All men are like this. She might grow up thinking all men are like this.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
All right. That was a good episode. I think we covered a lot of stuff. Thank you once again, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on Discipline Therapy Thursdays.
Discipline Therapy Podcast. Peace.